Hi, doggy. Hamster.
Hello, chat room. Good afternoon. Happy, what's today? Thursday. It's Thursday. Hi. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day so far. Welcome, welcome. Let me go ahead and say hello to every Hammie. I agree. I also thought it was Friday for a good chunk of the day, and then I realized it was not in fact, Friday. And I feel a little silly. Anyway. Hello, Dreamcast. Hello, Johnny. Hello. Nobody's gotten third yet. Hello, Super Manager. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Malice. I think I got every Hammie. Blackberry. Of course, I see Blackberry there. Welcome. I was running into some issues with VTube Studio before stream today. If my tracking looks a little wonky tonight, it's because I have to wear my glasses. I woke up with a headache. My eyes have been really sensitive today. The CKC emotes are super poggers. They're really, really cute. I'm really excited. But yeah, no, I've been really excited for stream today. It's Kissy. I was gonna say in the flesh, but not really in the flesh. Kissy got affiliate earlier today, so can we get a celebrate? I'll do it. I can do it. Hold on. There we go. Yay. But yeah, it's so funny. Today's stream was Keenbei's idea. It was Keenbei's idea, and Keenbei also commissioned Kissy for a version of an actual like serious commission of the art I'm gonna draw today. So I'm really excited. They were streaming it the other day. Following is mandatory. Please go follow Cozy. You want to so bad. You want to. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to take my glasses off. They just seem a little, maybe they're, oh no, my eyes are feeling really weird. It'll be okay. Maybe I'll try taking them off for streamer dailies. And if I have trouble with streamer dailies, I'll put my glasses back on. It's one of those days, chat. It's one of those days. Yeah, that's me. I need to get my glasses out. I need to get my, like, these glasses. Hold on. Let's see. They don't quite fit my face, and they move when I blink, but, you know, country hamsters make do. Fred Durst be like, it's just one of those days. I feel really bad. I'm like a fake Limp Bizkit fan. I don't really know any songs. Maybe I should sit down and listen to Limp Bizkit at some point. I'm taking those off because I took them off. Hoping for unintentional Hamela aggro again. So I have a new thing. I have like a remote, a VTube Studio remote at this point, which is kind of epic in its own right, but it does make it easier for me to not accidentally hit stuff. I need to play around with some stuff. Otherwise, when we do Final Fantasy 14 maps on Saturday, I will be hitting my hotkeys. So I gotta make a mental note to update those. Only know 2 songs, and one of them is because of Neander's cover. I used to get, before Neander's was a VTuber, I used to get compared to Neander's quite a bit. A friend of mine, who I used to do like convention skits with and stuff, pretty often, made me do do my own rendition of one of the videos she did, and it was like the Oni-chan, what are we gonna do on the bed, which is really like, I'm glad that didn't go anywhere, but I think a lot of women in anime spaces did probably. Yeah, no, I was talking about it, and then I was like thinking about it, I was like, but yeah, no, yeah, I got compared to Neander's a few times, but I feel like I don't really sound like Neander's. I just, like, you know, I have a unique voice. I've been told I have an interesting inflection in my voice, which is not intentional ever. It's never intentional. It was something that I did like get an earful of when I was in high school. It was just the way my voice sounded. I think you sound like Hammie. I guess there are worse things to sound like, I suppose. But I just get told I have a unique and interesting voice. And I remember when I was working at NIS America, my boss at the time was like, if you don't do something with voice work down the road, it's gonna be a—
Kim Bakakura just bought Hammie a coffee. Hammie Sammy with the handy Jamies.
Thank you, Kimbe. Thank you. That surprised me, and so did the bots of the Yippee. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna get started that here in a minute, but I did want to say, I was rewatching Kissy's VOD yesterday, and Kimbe, yesterday was your birthday, and I didn't tell you happy birthday, so happy belated birthday. Thank you for commissioning me, technically. What's Mr. Bark looking at? Sometimes he kind of just like looks out into the hallway. I'm doing a little bit of laundry today. Because I accidentally made a mess of one of my kitchen rug. I dropped blueberries on it, so I was watching it. But yeah, no, yeah, happy birthday, Kimbe. Gamers, I'm on the Missouri side and about to drive home, but will be lurking. Absolutely, Kimbe. I'll start on the art in here in a little while. We're gonna do some streamer dailies before we get started, so I can maybe see if I need to wear my glasses for this or not. You know what? I think that's really funny, and I'm gonna do that. Yeah. But thank you, Kimbe. So yeah, I lost my train of thought a little bit. But that's okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can backtrack and figure out where I left off. Oh yeah, Mr. Bark is just kind of looking out in the hallway. I'm doing some laundry because I messed up my kitchen rug and it needed washed, and honestly, like, I usually take the weekend to do laundry anyway, and it's Thursday, it's close enough. If you haven't noticed, hi Mohammedism, welcome. If you haven't noticed yet, I also forgot what I was saying. oh, now I remember. I already put up next week's schedule. I'm going out of town next week, so it's a light schedule, and I'm really sorry because 2 of the 3 streams that I'm able to do next week do have to be during the afternoon. But I wanted to fit in as much time with Ham Nation as I could. Also, I did add some new VIPs to my stream. I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna add a handful, like just a couple, maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, no, next week will be pretty light. No, you don't have VIP. You have the Labris, the axe even. Sorry. But next week will be kind of fun. My friends have a lot of my friends told me I should do Pokopia, but I should just do my world building when I get around to it. So I decided that I'm gonna probably finish the story part of Pokopia on my own this week outside of stream, and then next week I'm just gonna go and start going probably area by area and just making everything look really nice. Gokunba? So I'm gonna do that next week, and then me and Umfi have rescheduled our they're gonna teach me how to play solitaire. And then, I rescheduled my Find Matt's Cat stream because I had all that scuff when we were supposed to do it, and I still want to do it. I'm Hammie. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I think it's gonna be fun next week. It was either Pokopia or trading cards, and I was like, oh, let's switch it up a little bit. We can do trading cards anytime, but right now there's a lot of hype for Pokopia because Bubbly Basin just came out. Have you seen that image of the person under anesthesia playing Super Mario World and texting their dad, I'm Gokunba? I haven't seen that. That sounds really funny. Anesthesia is so funny. I wish I was funny on it, but I just get really I just throw up when I have it. And that's really unpleasant. That's so unpleasant. But yeah, Gokunba? Is that how you say it, do you think? I guess you probably don't know for sure, but that's how I'm gonna say it. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I got my pissing dog lamp. I keep forgetting to try. I keep forgetting because I want it to like charge in the sunlight, but I haven't been taking it outside because it's been raining a shit ton, and it also hasn't been dark enough for it to turn on. I love it. It's a little smaller than I anticipated. But you know what? I still really like it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I need to tame my front porch at some point. Don't worry, Hammie, you're funny naturally. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. You sent it. I love it so much. I'm gonna go look. I'll put it on this stream. Too. I really like this. Don't make drugs to be funny, they just help. I think of the owl video where it's like drugs and the lady's just like, no, thank you. Then replying how kills me. It's really funny. What if we got a yippee of just how? That would be really funny, wouldn't it? But another funny thing, or not funny necessarily, but a thing that supported me kind of like making the decision to stream some more Pokopia is Nintendo put out some really adorable streaming overlays today that you can use. And so I was like, well, let me see if I can make a cute overlay out of them for Pokopia streams, and then I did, and I'm really excited to show you. Weezer is still there. Don't worry. Hi, Lucid. Welcome. Yeah, I saw them. They're really stinking cute. Have a good class, Kissy. Have a good class. I was gonna show off too. I was gonna probably show off Kissy's version of the artwork when we get started, but I feel like it would be confusing if I did it this ahead of time and then we did Streamer Daily, so I'll just show you when we get over to that screen. Nintendo supporting content creators? Who are you and what did you do with the big red N? You know, I was really surprised to see that they really did just make a bunch of overlay stuff and just give it out for free. Like, that was really cool. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, they give you, there's a Poplio themed one, and then there's a Ditto themed one, and as much as I love Poplio, because I really like Poplio a lot, I went with the Ditto one. So hopefully you guys will come by next, I want to say next Thursday, and then tell me what you think. But, yeah, no, I've been teetering on really wanting to stream some Pokopia, but I know a lot of people are waiting to watch streams before they actually like sit down and play it themselves, which is completely reasonable. But also, I also played a lot outside of stream because it's honestly been kind of like a comfort game for me in a way. Because it's just so relaxing, and I don't really if I get stuck on it, then I just find something else to do. It's kind of like Minecraft, you know? So I didn't want to play all of it on stream, but getting to play some of it on stream sounds like fun. And the company, while I really go through and start tidying things up, making it look nice, I could spend hours doing that, if I'm being real. I remember when I sat down and really dressed up my island in Tomodachi Life, and I think I was fixated. I carved out like 3 or 4 hours just doing that. I need to get more Pokemon. Everyone praise Hammie's hard work in Pokopia. Thank you, Lucid. I'm really excited though. It's gonna be really fun. I'm really stoked for it. I love Pokemon so much. I just love a good critter, you know? I love a good critter. Thank you, Ula. I'm trying to think though, did I have anything else to share with you guys? I feel like... I did update my throne a little bit. I'm currently kind of like, what do I put on it? But there's this case for the Switch 2 that I'm like, I really want the case, but it's like, I don't want to spend that much on a case, so Super Manager was like, why don't you just put it on your throne then? I was like, you know, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then... Yeah, I think that's really all I can think of for now. I need to go buy maps for Final Fantasy XIV on Saturday. I haven't done that yet. Oh yeah, tonight when I draw, I'm gonna put music on. I can't decide what kind of music to put on though, because I've just been listening to the same album over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So if left to my own devices, I will make you guys listen to the same album from start to finish again. We'll see. I feel like maybe I should be playing Monogatari music. Have the servants take care of it, but now it's have chat by it. No! No, but thank you guys for always supporting me, and I feel a little bit spoiled. I do feel a little bit spoiled, especially Kimbe being nice enough to commission me for something kind of not like I'm gonna put a lot of effort into it, but I'm not very good at drawing with my left hand. So we'll see how it comes. But yeah, no, I've been feeling pretty good today. I got a really nice package from Oomph today, which I don't know if I should mention that, but so I won't mention Oomph by name, but it was really cool because it also had a bunch of off-kai stuff from all of my friends, and I low-key kind of teared up earlier because I was just like, ugh, I have really good friends. And I've met a lot of really cool people while streaming, and I get a little bit weepy about it sometimes. But yeah. Oh man. Yeah, do you guys want to do some streamer dailies really quick? That sounds like fun. My head is not gonna handle Lexicon well, but we will be doing our best, chat. We will be doing our best. Let's do it. Give me a second here. Do I have it on the right thing? Yes, I do. Whoops. I'm gonna have to move you around, huh? I'll just go over here. We'll start with guess the game. Let's see. Metacritic score 79%. Here, actually, what if I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You can hear the neighbor dogs going crazy town right now. Mr. Bark's been going crazy town. There he goes. Oh, let's see. So oh no, this is an Xbox 360 game. I never owned an Xbox, so we might be cooked this time. It's an RPG. Oh, that looks like Toriyama art. It came out in 2006. Full release was 2007. Is there a 360? Oh! Is it Blue Dragon? See, I would have never gotten it. So I'm gonna... Yeah! Thanks, Johnny! Let's see. What do we do next? We'll do Toon Tone. Ooh, okay. Did I log into Toon Tone? I gotta sign in. Give me a second here. Had that guess the game totally wrong. I was never gonna get it in a million years, so... Oh yeah, I did sign in. Thought it was Destiny 2. Staring down eternity. It's like a blue. It's gonna match the little ribbon on his hat, I think. It's gonna match the ribbon on his hat. Oh shit! I was really off. You and others remembered it less vivid. Oh, I'm glad that it told me that. That's kind of cool. Oh, I'm dumb. It was the same as the ribbon on his hat, but I assumed that it was colored. It wasn't... Because it said his jacket. I'm just a little dumb, a little stupid. Wait. It's time for his beanie? It's like a teal, isn't it? Like a bluish teal? Thank you for the head pats. Did those show up? I've been having so much trouble with VTube Studio now. Tealish color. I think it kind of was already on close to where it needed to be. Ah, thank you. It did show up. Oh, it's lighter. Tricky, but ahead of 32%. Damn, I'm not doing too good. Wait. It's like this. It's like this. But it's a little bit... like this? It's blue. But maybe it's a little bit... We talked about Aang the other day. Oh, we did pretty good though. Pooh Bear! That one's easy. He's a little brighter. Oh, never mind, he's a little darker. Well, I still got a pretty okay. His tie, it's red. I do know this. SpongeBob. Nice, that was pretty good. All right. You know, that wasn't too bad. SpongeBob. I like the meme where it's like, oh no, he cracked his, oh no, his spoochie. Hi, Kashima, welcome. Alright, let's do some Pokedoku. Can I zoom? I'm gonna zoom in on it a little bit though. Never seen that one before. You haven't? Hold on. I'll find it really quick, okay? SpongeBob, his spoochie. Hold on. Yippee! SpongeBob. Hold on, I'm getting the meme really quick. Fairy types. Yay! I'm so excited, chat. Let me get the Spoochie meme out first. This one. No, it's Spoochie touching the floor. I think about that one a lot. It's really funny to me. I'm so excited. I love fairy Pokemon. Spoochie. Alright. Let's see. What do we got here? What do we got? Mega Evolved. Clefable. Remember that episode? Me too. I need to sit down and watch SpongeBob again. I've been really hankering for it. A fairy legendary Celebi? Can I do dual types? Oh, okay, never mind. SpongeBob sounds like a regional variant with the fighting type. It kind of does. You're right. Poison. Victreebel. Baby Fairy. Igglybuff. Baby Poison. Celebi knows fairy moves though, right? Or did I pull that out of my ass? A Sinnoh Mega Evolved Pokemon. This is bad because I don't know all of the Mega Evolutions because I have managed to avoid a lot of the spoilers for Legend ZA2. So many things are poisonous to babies. Celebi is fairy coded. Let's see. A legendary poison type. Thinking. Hold on, really quickly. I'm gonna double check which region that was again. Which game it was. Diamond and Pearl. Of course, it's the only game. I haven't played Diamond and Pearl. So this is gonna be really, really tough. But country hamsters, we make do. There are many legendary Pokemon assumed for at least retcon to fairy type, and none of them were, so I'm not very bright. Oh no. Sinnoh Mega? Is there a Mega Garchomp? Yeah, there is! There's two! There's two. Mad that Pokemon like Celebi didn't swap out their psychic type for the fairy type. Oh yeah, that would have been delightful. Ooh. Is it fairy? Is it? Wait, no, hold on. Wrong one. Deer. Oh, right, that's right! Oh, shit. What's the deer's name? I already forgot. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Oh, come on. You're right, I love Xerneas. I have a shiny in Pokemon Go. Noelle. That's awesome! That's awesome. Let's see. A Sinnoh baby. Are there baby Sinnoh Pokemon? Let's see. This one is easy because it's these, right? Got you. Mime Jr. is my. See, Mime Jr. I always get a little bit thrown off because I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, technically it's a Kanto Pokemon, but we're gonna try. Okay, so it is something that, I mean, he was introduced in Sinnoh, so it worked. It worked. Let's see. I'm thinking of baby Pokemon now. Baby Pokemon. And I still need to figure out a legendary. Hi, Grow! Wait! I think you're right. I'm gonna try it, okay? Toxel. Is Toxel a baby Pokemon? I love Toxel. Oh, shit. Ah, I didn't win it again today, but that's okay. That's alright. That was fun, though. I really like Pokedoku, even if I'm really not good at it. Not this sad Pikachu. You know what? We're gonna make it 10 times worse by doing Rule 30 Fortal now. You guys know the drill. If you yeah, of course. I always have fun with it. Yeah, it's gonna, so you should be able to vote. I'm double checking to make sure that's fine. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh it. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but should I reset it? Okay, now they're going through. They weren't going through before, so if you didn't vote, we have a different Rule 30 Fortal now. So we got Goat Guy from League of Legends or Mega Man the character. I think it's gonna be Mega Man. Those aren't udders. Hi, Fox. Hi, Raph. Welcome. He's a cow. I'm sorry, I'm a fake fan. Anyway, it's Mega Man. I think it's Mega Man. Did everybody get your vote in? Oh, no! Okay, we're gonna do... I know the answer to this already. We're gonna do another round of it, because I always feel a little bad when I, Mr. Bark? This one's Mashu. Oh, guys, Mr. Bark needs more kibbles, and he just brought his dish. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. He's being really annoying. It's awesome. Hold on. He brought his dish. Oh, Mr. Bark treat. Give me a second. I will, I'm gonna give Mr. Bark his treat really quick. Okay, so watch this. Watch this. Oh, it landed right in his dish, I think. He does deserve all the treats. He appreciates you. I got a little too close to the camera there with it, though. I apologize. Stubby is just twitching. It's so cute. Alright, chat. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go for Let's go really quick. You guys can vote and roll through the portal. I'll be right back.
Hi, doggy.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Mr. Bark, you're being kind of a butthead. You're being kind of a turd. Hi, regular. Welcome, welcome. Alright, we all got our votes in. I'm pushing Mashu. It's Mashu or bust. Yup. And nobody was surprised at all. Ooh, Grand Theft Auto is probably gonna have more than 6,000, I think. Because, you know, there's probably parody art. There's probably parody art. Thank you for the check-in. I don't know. This one's gonna be tough. Everyone's busting to Mashu. It sure seems like it. You know, okay. I feel like I needed to give this one some thought, but, you know... Oh, damn. That was really close, though, actually. Oh, it's gonna be Poison Ivy. It's gonna be Poison Ivy. I'll let you guys vote, though. I'll let you guys vote. Hold on. Alright, guys. Nice. I think it's gonna be Poison Ivy again. I think Roxy's a popular Pokemon character, but she's not like the popular character. Like one of the popular characters. Damnation is a democracy. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. Alright. I'm gonna press Poison Ivy here in a second, so make sure you get your vote in if you're voting. I'm going. Yup. Oh, I can only hope that it's Roxy. We were just talking about Brion. This is... I feel like since it's the middle evolution, it might be okay. I hate this too, actually. I hate this a lot. Yeah. I'm going to choose to have faith in humanity and let it get shattered. Yes! Oh. Oh, I think it's gonna be Raboot. I don't know. This one's tough. Mr. Bart is zooming and human. What are these choices? I don't know, but they're pissing me off. Oh. Oh, this one is unfortunately going to be Frisk. Mr. Bark, you have the zoomies? 2 meter. I think it's gonna be Frisk. Oh, it's not registering the votes. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Yeah. That's not a big margin. Oh, it's poison. It's gonna be poison. People are horny for poison. It really does take a few minutes for, or a few seconds for those to register, huh? The yippies are really funny. I feel like I should turn them off, but I don't wanna. I don't want to. They're funny. The 2. Let's go. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Oh crap! No! Double clicking got me! I'm so sad. I'm so sad. We were doing really good. Should we do one more? Should we do one more? I want to do one more. That felt mean and dirty and unfair to me. I'm doing one more. It's Donkey Kong! I don't know. Yeah, it's Donkey Kong. Sorry, I should have let you guys vote. It's gonna be Ritsuka. Done dirt cheap even? I don't know what that means. Wowzer. Fastest 2 of your life. I'm gonna click 2 too. Oh! Oh, it's gonna... Oh wow, I wonder what it is! I wonder what it is. I feel like Jiraiya isn't that popular for porn though, was my thought. I feel like they were both gonna be like, not a big number if I'm being honest. Who the hell voted 2? Ray, what did you vote 2? Gotta get in there with the 2, it's gonna blow your mind. Imagine if Shadow Milk Cookie had more porn than DC Comics on Rule 34. I'm voting for DC Comics. Yup. I don't think Darkrai is gonna have as much porn as Shadow Milk Cookie though, if I'm being honest. So, you know, can I tell you guys a secret for what helps me decide whether or not a Pokemon is going to have porn or not? Because it's always, if they don't have legs, then I'm like, I don't really think it's gonna go anywhere, so. A lot of porn for a cookie. You'd be, the Cookie Run Kingdom fandom is like wilding out constantly. I can't even be surprised. Like at first I was so surprised, but I don't know. Have you not seen Darkrai legs yet? I mean, I have, but he doesn't usually have them, does he? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's gonna be, he does have legs. Oh no. Oh no. I accidentally clicked Shadow Milk Cookie anyway, and Darkrai still didn't have more porn than the cookie. Least popular legendaries? He's my friend. I'll be his, I'll like him. I'll like him if people won't like him, I will. But I won't want porn of him, obviously. Banjo-Kazooie, I think. I think it's gonna be Banjo-Kazooie, unfortunately. I don't like it, but... Hi, Kai! Hello, hello! Welcome, welcome! People love the banjo. Yeah, and I feel like being able to do, like, it's a popular game, but when you do the whole franchise, I feel like it's easy, it's kind of easy to assume it's gonna at least be over a few hundred, you know? Mally, this lemur! Now Malice can't vote in Rule 34 though. Yeah, that's a lot of porn. The Cleveland Show or Banjo-Kazooie, chat? If it were Family Guy, I think this would be tougher, but I feel like because it is the spin-off show, the Cleveland Show, I feel like we're not gonna get as lucky. I think it's gonna be Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because I think I could be wrong here. I'd say Banjo. Yeah, I'd say so too. Banjo-Kazooie kind of has the backing of the furry community, so... Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It's gonna be Springtrap! It's gonna be Springtrap! It's gotta be Springtrap. 2. That's crazy. Oh, I think it's gonna be Springtrap. Ah! That's a bigger number than I thought. It's gonna be Springtrap again. I think so anyway. I've seen this JoJo's guy. But he doesn't seem like one of the like popular ones that they make porn of. Cause he's kind of greasy looking. Yeah, animatronics get quirky at night. Quirked up Springtrap at FNAF. I'm gonna do it. Get your— oh. Are you kidding me? Who is this guy? Fuck this guy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, should I draw? I feel like I should draw. Straight girls love a greasy guy though. I guess I'm not like most— well, I guess, I'm not quite straight, but I do have shit taste in fictional boys, but more often than not. Sometimes I have a good one. Oh, is that the guy with the candy? The gif with the candy? I don't know shit about JoJo. I'm not sure I'll ever know anything about JoJo, but yeah, that guy. Okay, now I see why he had a lot of porn, I guess. It's kind of like when they say you can tie a cherry stem with your tongue, I guess. It gets people rowdy. I'm gonna draw now. Springtrap has those rusted wires in a graphics card. Oh man, do you think he could give birth to RAM? He could fix the computer economy. You know, honestly, when it comes to— he just might. No. Someone has to get him pregnant and we can find out. Okay, it's you guys. You guys get him pregnant. I'll just hang out here and upgrade my RAM when the time comes. Okay. You got me? Did you lay this egg? I don't lay eggs. I reproduce by budding. Osmosis. I shouldn't say that. POV, me yesterday looking at graphic card prices at 800 and 900. Oh no. It's so bad right now and apparently it's only gonna get worse, which fucking blows. Just wanna upgrade my computer. I'm really glad though that my last computer decided to shit the bed, because it definitely got a lot worse not too long after it shit the bed last time. We need to show Hammie the JoJo clamp dojin. That's a thing? It'll crash soon because AI isn't working for them. Fingers crossed. Hold out a little bit longer, guys. We'll see the light at the end of the tunnel before we know it. Nvidia ruined their stocks because of their announcement beginning on the year. Yeah, I did see that. That's kind of funny though. I shouldn't say that, but it's kind of funny. Like lately, I think it's it might be a little bit mean-spirited, but I kind of laugh at like the AI bubble bursting a little bit, and then also like Pokemon card scalpers are kind of getting their just desserts now, because I think I know Target mentioned that they're removing the plastic casing off of a lot of their Pokemon bundles and like cards and boxes and stuff to deter any scalpers from buying their stock. And I'm kind of like, you know, that's sick actually. And then I know Pokemon is having a McDonald's collaboration in Japan. Even like McDonald's was kind of like, yeah, you're only gonna be able to get 6 of these at 6 Happy Meals at a time. God forbid one of those people have 7 kids. Little Timmy, you drew the shortest stick. You don't get a Pokemon Happy Meal today. Enjoy your Grimace shake. Yeah, no, I remember that. I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't refund party animals, but I think I got it as a gift, so I wouldn't refund a gift. But it did definitely make me uninstall it. A lot of the abandoned food was Chinese foreigners? Wait. Like scalping Pokemon stuff? Removing the seal, and if you say you're there to resell, they can choose not to sell to them. That's awesome. Oh, okay. Man, that's kind of a bummer too. Like, I don't know if I'm just like a fat ass, but they have such cool like specials at McDonald's in Japan that why would you just abandon them? This has also been kind of how I was raised, but I was raised to not like waste food because growing up, you were just kind of like, you were thankful for what you have. Like, we weren't poor, no, but we didn't have like a lot of money, so it just felt silly to kind of waste food, you know? Do you want to order a Japanese Domino's pizza together? Yeah, will Miku deliver it for me? Honestly, like some of the Domino's pizza specials also look really fun. They do a lot of collabs and stuff. Them and KFC. Would always eat everything on my plate. My family gave me the codename. That's really cute, though. That's really cute. I did see that McDonald's might be bringing back their spicy chicken nugs this month. I think it said August. I'm really excited. When a place has spicy chicken nuggets, I really like Burger King's spicy chicken nuggets quite a bit. But I remember going to a convention drunk while they were doing the spicy chicken nuggets, and I ordered spicy chicken nuggets, and the lady at the cash register was like, we don't have those right now. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw something online. And she like got so mad at me. She got so mad at me. I was so sad. I was drunk and sad. And I was like, I should have just got the regular nuggets. Because I felt really like, I just felt embarrassed. She made a big deal out of something that was not a big deal. But welcome back, Ad Gang. Let's see. So, yeah, that's just how I was raised. I don't like wasting food. I always feel really bad if I have to throw something out, like it goes bad. Like, I always try to eat leftovers for lunch, and you guys know that I pass off a lot to my friends because it's hard for me to cook anything in a crock pot a small amount, so it's always a lot of food. But yeah, Miku is in Brazil until the next FIFA. Good for her. She's a traveling gal. Always say there are people going hungry as I inhale the leftovers. Yeah, exactly. That's what my parents would say too. They're starving children abroad. And yeah. But I was also like, I don't know. I would eat everything at home because during the day, at school lunch, sometimes I would skip school lunch so I could save my money and buy books at the buy myself a book at the bookstore. Because I didn't really, I was too young to get a job at that point, but I was really deep in my manga addiction. Have you ever ate something not because you just like it, but because you don't want to waste it, and then your parents just think you like it, so they buy it for you again and again? So I didn't have that exact situation. But when I was younger, Hammie Mama and I were visiting my grandma, and my grandma made this casserole. It was like, oh gosh, it was like hamburger, pasta noodle. It was pasta noodles, hamburger, but there was A1 sauce in it. There was A1 sauce in it. And while we were there, I was like, I chowed down on it. I ate and asked for seconds. Because it was my grandma. It was my grandma, and I didn't want her to think I didn't like her cooking, but I don't like steak sauce. It's one of the things I'll get kind of picky about because I don't like it. I don't like steak sauce at all. I don't like the flavor of it. So, I ate seconds, and then I said thank you to my grandma, and then my mom tried to make the same recipe at home, and I didn't eat nearly as much, and my mom was like, is it different? Is it not taste like grandma's? And I was like, Mom, I'm really sorry. I didn't like it that much. I just didn't want to disappoint grandma. And my mom was like, oh, okay. My mom wasn't mad. Miss my grandma's menudo? That sounds delicious. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I don't know. I loved my grandma. My grandma was awesome. But I've always been a little like too polite for my own good at certain times. I think. But I don't know. I didn't see my grandma as often as I get to see my mom, so I was willing to be honest with my mom. Beef tripe soup, sometimes with pig's feet. That sounds interesting. I've never had either of those things, but I'm always the kind of person that's like, I would try something I haven't had before, and I'm really like, I'm pretty adventurous, I think. Well, darn, I guess I gotta eat all the steak sauce casserole. See, you could have all the steak sauce casserole you want. I don't know what it is. I'm not a picky person by any means, but I just really don't like the, like, tanginess of A1 sauce. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to me. I'm not a fan. Soup is spicy and the tripe is a nice chewy. Ooh. Is it like, a jerky chewy? Probably not like a dry chewy, but I don't know. I got in trouble for not eating lunch and spending it for a bookmark at the Scholastic Fair events they had. See, I did that too. Soft but firm. Got you, okay. I don't know, I'd be willing to try it if someone offered it to me. But yeah, I just like food. Wish I was me with my parents are boomers and only gave me checks. I mean, for the longest time, I also would get checks, but it was like, once I started, I think it was like, freshman year of high school, it became easier to just use cash. And, so I would get, I don't even remember at this point. I can't remember at this point how much they'd give me, but at the end of the week, it added up to a book, so I was always pretty happy. I think that maybe about 20 bucks, I guess. So that way, if I needed a snack, I could get a cheap snack from the vending machine or something. But yeah, no, up until like the end of middle school, I got checks too. But I was always kind of weak for, even if I could, like, skip lunch, thank you for the lurk, Dreamcast. Even if I, skipped lunch, sometimes I couldn't skip school breakfast because, I was, like, I had a weak spot for, the little Debbie donut stick things. Yeah, those were really yummy. The little donut coffee cake stick things. And then sometimes they'd have the fancy milk, and I would want to try the fancy milk. Like, if you got the vanilla milk, it would taste like a melted vanilla milkshake almost. And then, of course, you have to get those, cheese breadsticks that you can only get in public school. They're like cheese breadsticks. And they were really good. Me and some of my friends that I went to high school with have considered buying the bulk box off of Amazon just to split it up amongst ourselves. Split peas milk. I've never had split pea anyway. I don't think I would try that. It's like a breadstick, but in the middle of it there's cheese. And it's really, really good. And then on the top kind of has like, it also has cheese on the top that's like melted, but it's like a crust instead of just like, you know, melty cheese on top. But yeah, no, the only place me and my friends were able to locate them was just like, you could buy a box of like 300 of these fuckers off Amazon. And that's so funny to me, but it's like, I could buy that box, but it would take me maybe like years to get through it on my own. So I have to like, I would have to split this with people. And we always, every once in a while, we're like, we should really do that. In elementary school would have bathroom shops where people went to buy origami or TCG cards. See, bathroom shops at my school was always like, you get in trouble, your teacher tells you you need to write the whole Declaration of Independence for tomorrow. All right, give me $5, I'll do it for you. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I was one of the kids that would take money to write people's like punishment documents. Because I was like, you know, a girl wants to buy her Oran High School Host Club. And like at the same time too, I spent a lot of time, my dad would work like the graveyard shift kind of, well not graveyard shift, but he would basically be at work from before I got home from school to midnight after I would be in bed. And my mom traveled a lot for work, so my brother would take care of me a lot. And I never wanted to trouble my brother, so if I could have like a few spare bucks to kind of take care of myself, then it was nice. Welcome back, King Bay. I've made no progress. I've been yapping. But I'm glad to hear you made it home safe. Black Market Hamster. But it was just kind of like, I had nice handwriting. I was pretty diligent. Honestly, like, it was just kind of like a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, maybe this is a little dishonest, but I'm not the one who's turning in work that I didn't do. So, it was just kind of that. It was kind of that. And I also started getting really into cosplay in high school. I started to get really into cosplay, so I, like, had to put money aside so I could, like, build my props and stuff. Or, if I needed to get, like, a little bit of extra something for my costume, I would be able to have, like, a little bit of money for it. And, I didn't know how to drive until... Hi, Pachi! Good to see you! I didn't get my driver's license until a year after I graduated, or, well, I'm sorry, it was the summer after I graduated, because I was in a really bad wreck sophomore year that made me terrified of driving. Imagining a Resident Evil 4 merchant, Hammie dressed when offering her ghostwriting service. I was probably wearing a Death Note t-shirt and jeans, if I'm being so for real. But I guess, no, that's not true. I was pretty firmly into my scene phase at this time. So I was wearing, like, the skinny jeans. I had the colored hair extensions, the fluffy bangs. You know. At one point, though, I ended up dyeing all of my hair pink, and I felt so cool. And honestly, that was really awesome. Hammie, can we get a what are you buying, stranger? Yeah, of course. Hold on. What are you buying? That's the best I can do. But, yeah. Yeah! I should, give me a second. I'm gonna move some stuff around on my desktop here, and then I'll go ahead and get started with my drawing. If that sounds like a plan. Middle school for Halloween, I made 20 packs of candies and filled my jacket and pretended to be a drug dealer. When the teacher turned around, I stood up and started tossing bags to people. That's awesome. That's really funny. See, what did I do in high school? Did I do anything, or in middle school? I didn't really do a whole lot, except for the story I already told you guys, where I asked the lady on the intercom if she would trade her firstborn for a Hot Pocket. And then I got in trouble, and then I had to write the Declaration of Independence. Oh, man. Yeah, no, Suddenly all of my like high school stories just went out the side of my brain. I can't think of anything good. Anyway. I think I'm gonna use my normal regular overlay for this today. Whoops, hold on, I gotta fix my shit. Oh no. That'll work. One time my friends and I ordered 2,700 chicken nuggets from Burger King at like 10 a.m. on a school day. Did you finish them? Did you guys finish them? See, I never did anything crazy like that. Am I drawing brick emote? No, I'm gonna be drawing one of my cosplay selfies. One of my cosplay selfies with my left hand so you guys can experience it. But I also ended up pixelating my cosplay selfie, so I'll probably bring it onto the canvas. Hopefully it doesn't take you guys out of the immersion too much, but I could just also keep it on my end. Kissy's also drawing said artwork too. Here, I'll show you guys. I took a picture from Kissy's stream. But yeah, it's a picture of me IRL cosplaying Senjo Gahara from Monogatari, and I am Slav squatting with Pink Guy. Nearly decapitated the collab mates. It's okay, they've gone through worse. Yeah! It was from ASEN a few years ago. How many office supplies you got under that skirt? I think I had quite a bit. I think I had a fanny pack that I had filled with like non-sharp school supplies because I had to make sure I was going to be able to take it on the plane. But yeah. I had like pencils. I had a lot of gel pens. I really like Senjo Gahara. I love all of the Monogatari girls. But I really like Senjo Gahara quite a bit. She might be my favorite, but I feel like as a person, I'm a lot more like Hanekawa. So I have to say that they're both my favorites. Oh, but I really like Hachikuji too. Oh man. There's a picture of me cosplaying the maid from Fata Morgana, and when I cosplayed her, there was a they had the light novel artist from the Monogatari novels, and there's they had a giant Hachikuji's backpack. So there's a picture of me dressed up as the maid from the house in Fata Morgana wearing Hachikuji's backpack, and it's really good too. It's really good. But yeah, I love Monogatari. I'm gonna be honest. I was also gonna put some music on. I'm a nautical man, but understand the appeal. Chat before you get weird. I watched the show when I was 13. You know, honestly, like, if we're talking about Monogatari in here, I'm sorry, but none of us are free from sin right now. None of us are free from sin. I remember the year that Monogatari was airing, and I had made a joke on Facebook about going to a convention at in 2003, and I was like, and I said take a shot every time you saw an L cosplayer. I could say that because I did cosplay L, but my dad took it very seriously, and I remember I was in the middle of watching Monogatari when I got home from school, and he blew up my phone to yell at me over that Facebook post. And so that's a weird memory I have with Monogatari. Miss Hamela, can you staple the inside of my cheek, please? I'm on it. I don't have my stapler nearby. There's one over around here somewhere. Yeah, no, I was yeah. He was like, I was like, Dad, it was a joke. And he was like, you better not be underage drinking. And I was the only one of my friends who wasn't really drinking underage until I hit about 20. I drank when I was 20, and I don't recommend it, but all of my friends started drinking a lot earlier than I did. Hamikawa, it me. Piss Man! Be nice to Lucid. He works very hard. Oh, for 2 seconds? That's so funny. How the fuck did Araragi take it so well? That sounds really painful. Like, I would have thought it would have scarred, too. But, you know, he does have that healing quirk. I shouldn't call it a quirk. That's My Hero Academia. Can we take a moment to appreciate Mr. Bark? Of course, here. Oh, stay there, stay there. I'm gonna make the camera big. Stay there. Oops, I gotta fix the video. It's clipping out of the Tamagotchi thingy. Oi, Hamikuji?
Hi, doggy.
Hi, doggy. Here, I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. Why is everyone hammy pilled? Why is everyone hammy pilled? Or am I just every hammy pilled? Hammy? True. So true. Oh man, I also wanted to, who else was I gonna cosplay at some point? Ononoki. I wanted to cosplay her. I thought her design is so cute. I remember when Kizu Monogatari was airing. I still had my Alamo Draft House nearby. And with my Alamo Draft House, they showed Kizu Monogatari, and I went in Senjo Gahara cosplay to that too. And I have a lot of souvenirs from it. Who has more maidens, Araragi or Hammie? I hope it's me. I think it should be me. Araragi's a chud. I like him. He was one of my, like, high school husbandos. Kizu had a rerun in theaters, not last year, but the year before. So I wonder if they'll do it again sometime, just because they had that one compilation film. But I know, it was really, really good. It was really good in a big screen. I still need to pick up the Blu-rays at some point, because I think I only ended up with part 1 and part 2, and I need part 3. Araragi's a chud is cracking me up, but it's true. He's kind of a chud. You love to hate him a little bit. You love to hate him a little bit, legally speaking, Hammie. The math girl is very cute too, yeah. Yeah, I really liked her as well. There's just, I'm gonna be honest when I say this. Shinobu is not my favorite, but I will die on the hill that there really isn't any bad girls in Monogatari. Hammie, did you tell the story of the time you went out to get food dressed as Senjo Gahara? Yeah, it was after Kizu Monogatari. We went to Yard House? Yeah, we went to Yard House afterwards, and they had vampire tacos. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta get the vampire tacos. Kizu Araragi especially is intentionally chud. Yeah, he has a lot of growing to do in Kizu. Wow, I wouldn't say I'm Kaiki is kind of best girl though, for being so real. We need some music. What kind of music do we want today? Because if it's either gonna be either I look for a Monogatari playlist, and I'm sorry VOD gang, The Great Divide. Don't tempt me. You know I will. Don't even joke. Roaring 20s. Kaiki best girl, it's true. You know what? Okay. Hold on. I'm going to I found Monogatari series essentials, and I think we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna do that for now. Maybe. I don't think my thing's working. Hold on. Can you play Nanner's Break Stuff kid-friendly cover? Is it on Apple Music or just YouTube? Cause I could in a little while, maybe. Wait, I was gonna do Lynxicon. I think just YouTube. I was gonna do Lynxicon. Have you ever heard Two Trucks by Lemon Demon? I don't think so. I don't think I have. Alright. Lynxicon hard today. I just stopped. Maybe I'll do a little drawing and then we'll play Lynxicon. Two trucks having sex? That normally isn't what I would listen, what the kind of stuff I listen to. Can you play Minto Break stuff immediately after? Maybe, perhaps. I'll need a reminder probably. I'll need a reminder, but... Orbiter, I listened to the whole album today, but good taste, Crow. Good taste. Yeah, The Great Divide is probably like my album I've had on repeat like nonstop for the last like few weeks. My TikTok feed is full of Noah Khan right now, and I just think he's so adorable. He's so cute. He's really funny. No fucking wonder Spotify put my age range at 72. That's really funny. Also, I promised you, Pissman, that I would look at my Ko-fi voices, and I think I got the one voice back. And I know I got the one voice with Stream Elements back. It worked earlier for me, so... For Stream Elements, I got the normal voice back. It works again after it didn't work for a few days. Oh, I really like Ren Eye Circulation and Illusion Express, though. Only do it if you want to. Don't feel like you have to. Oh god, Super Manager. Here it goes. Here it goes. Are you redeeming it now? Hi. It's been a while since... No? Well... Oh, okay. Whew. I thought it was 120k. Did I bump up the price? Go me. Alright, I think I am feeling kind of brave, so I will let you guys look at the picture with, I will let you look at the picture, but it's pixelated and small. It's always been 150. Got you. Can we get a modern country karaoke stream for everyone to get tortured, including you? So, I've had to explain this a lot lately, actually. I do really like country music, but it's kind of hard to find good country music sometimes. No, I think I'll let you guys work for it. No. I like Dolly Parton. Oh, thank you, T-Saw-Z, for the resub. Oh my gosh, it's almost been 2 years. Country music from which one? America. Country Ham likes country jams. It's true. I do remember. I will always love you. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Country hams do make do. You're absolutely right. But yeah, I'm going to be really brave. I'm going to be really brave. I'll let you guys see it. I'm going to draw it. I'm not zooming in on it because I'm self-conscious, but... it exists. There's proof it exists. And now, I'm gonna find, what kind of brush do I want to draw with my left hand, huh? I miss Pink Guy. I also miss Pink Guy. But I really like Joji, so... Here it is, Ren Eye Circulation. Oh man, hold on. I think if you keep it small and pixelated, low quality, absolutely. I think you're right. Nice Pink Guy cosplay, Hamela. Thank you. I'm gonna take my watch off because it's gonna be really hard to draw on my tablet. Can I always put a Puyo Ham over the face too? I think we're okay. I think we're okay. It's pixelated enough. It's small enough. Witnessing his birth on Tumblr was very scary. We didn't know what we were looking at. Yeah. Yeah. Simpler times, truly. Oh my god, I don't even know how to draw with with my left hand. I'm scared. This is already terrible. Do you need proof? Kimbe, do you want proof that I'm using my left hand, or do you just believe me? I have a friend that likes Pink Eye and Joji and didn't know the relation. It's quite funny. That's really funny, actually. At this resolution, the face looks more like a thumb, so I think we're fine. Hell yeah. I trust. Okay, okay. Oh my god, this is gonna be so hard. I'm like tilting my hand. Oh my god, this is gonna be awful. Holy. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna do it in one. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it out loud because you guys are gonna make fun of me. But one brush stroke. This is so rough. This is so rough. Oh man. One brush. Look at that eye. Hold on. Oh, I need to fix this. Oh no. Music is very quiet, by the way. I can turn it up. VOD gain has to go without. Sent you a quick message. Oh, 1 second. Oh, okay, okay. VOD gain, we are listening to heavy metal and industrial rap. Hi, Ash! Welcome, welcome! Oh my god. I've got to make it look like Hammie, though, I think. Thank you, Lucid! Certainly not jamming to Hanazawa's 2009 pop hit Red Eye Circulation. Does it sound... It doesn't, it's not too loud or too soft now, right? Hamela comfy. I think I'm gonna need to... Is good? Okay, great. It's not it's not like I hate transforming it, but it's gonna just add to the... It's gonna add to the charm, I think. I keep accidentally hitting the eraser. Hi, Seth Worsty. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So Lucid thinks the picture's safe, so I'm gonna I'll put it up on the side here. I'll put it up on the side here. Oh god, I made it backwards and everything. It's so pixelated. It's so rough. It's so funny. Hammie is ambidextrous, so talented. It's really funny. I agree. I agree. I am gonna delete the... I have it on here. It does kind of look like a Minecraft map, doesn't it? Gotta get that motherfucking yippee. Oh man. This is so hard. Oh god. I couldn't imagine doing Minecraft map art. I feel like I need to get a picture of Senjo Gahara to use too, but we failed the yippee. Oh no. It's okay. I can still see Pink Guy's aura through pixelation. Yeah. You are VIP. Back in high school, my friends had a game where I picked a Monogatari-san to represent our bed life. That sounds really funny. Oh, she has these little face framing pieces too. This is so awful. Hold on, I'm gonna do this. You're still stuck in bed? I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Surely you're on the mend. Oh god. Hold on. Where did my menu go? That's okay, that's okay. I am gonna do this. I'm gonna have to like reset all of my Clip Studio Paint stuff. It's cute. Oh, Marshmallow Justice is really good too. Okay, okay. There we go. Oh no, your AC's broken too. That's the worst! Being sick when it's hot. Oh, here we go. We're getting closer. Maybe Marshmallow Justice will come up soon too. I think I wore contacts for this. What color are Senjo Gahara's eyes? Hold on, I'm gonna look up a picture really quick. Yeah, her eyes are blue. Actually. Platinum Disco is really good. Think it's cool when cosplayers wear contacts. Excuse me. I didn't always wear contacts, but I did have a pair of blue ones that I really liked. Whenever I put them on around Hammie Papa, he'd always say it gave me superstar eyes, and I was like, that's really adorable. Your eyes get irritated? Oh, I get it though. Oh, I keep hitting this button. Hold on. Oh, that's cute though. Never worn contacts. They aren't really uncomfortable, so I can't blame anyone for not wanting to. I haven't worn some in a long time, though. I think the last time I wore contacts was when I cosplayed Lion from Umineko, and it was at Katsucon right before COVID. It's so funny. It's so funny. Hi, Micro. Wait, hold on. I gotta add my ears. I gotta add my ears. I know it's not a Hammie selfie, but I know! They look a little like monkey ears, but that's okay. Uchikoshi worked on Pepsi Man? Tweeted at Pepsi about it today. He's so funny. I like that guy. My fortune cookie. I'll connect them eventually. No proportions. We die like men here. Hold on. Hold on, my boobs are much bigger than that. Hold on, I want to redo this too. Friend brought me to a car meet once, and one vintage car had on the dash, "Airbags don't work, we die like men" on it. That's really funny. I've gone to a bunch of car shows before. I grew up at car shows because my family really loved cars and classic cars. And they're kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I like this one too. This is really funny. Hold on. Amazing, amazing. This is a powerful pose. Thank you. Looks like Hammie is a monk preparing for battle. I do be Slav squatting. I was poking into Kissy's chat when they were drawing it, and I just remember seeing K-chan After reading in all caps go, is Hammie Slav squatting? I think I need to fix my bag. It's like breaking. I'm gonna fix it. Ba recognizes ba. True! Oops, I accidentally did this, so we're gonna... Oh man, I really liked how I looked in this cosplay, actually. I hate drawing pleated skirts. It's gonna be really bad. The wig looks really good. I can even tell through the pixels. Thank you. It was at the time my wig didn't arrive in time, so I had to use a wig of Nozomi from Love Life, but I had to take the pigtails out. Can tell from some of the pixels and from having seen many shopped images in my time. I think I need to take this other pleat out. My butt is not that big. The whole bakery is there? Jesus! Oh no. Good enough, good enough. You guys can see how swole my calf muscles are in this pic too. You know how hamsters can stretch their cheeks? Oh my god. Just leaving the joke though. What? No, no! You did not skip leg day? Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I mean, I used to be in track when I was younger. Hamster. So I do just have really, like, my legs are really strong. Ryukishi Higurashi sprays me like, yeah. Leg is closer to the camera to it. It's bigger. Yeah, you're right. Here we are. Here we are. Wait, hold on. I figured out what to use this little piece for. Tail. She got a tail. Be strong. Legs look like you look at the mural or a painting from an angle. Yeah, you're right. This is so much. I'm built like a brick shit house. Forgot you were doing this with your left hand for a second. Yeah, I'm doing. Wait, hold on. I should make it. I should probably say I'm doing this. Where's my text option? Ooh, which cute font should I use? Which cute font should I use? Eh, we'll just use this. There we go. Quite fond of this, Hamela? Like, you're fond of, the Central Gahara, Hammie? Or me drawing with my left hand, Hamela? Maybe I like this little ham. Alright, I gotta draw pink guy now, and then I gotta color it. Oh god, okay. It's time to draw pink guy.
Pissman445 just bought Hammie a coffee. Hamela, so hear this, right? I was calling you a banshee as a compliment due to how you make peaks when you laugh, and then Malice was all like, oh, don't call her that, that's mean. Then she cursed my bloodline. Turns out the true definition of banshee is fairy woman.
Whoa. Well, I kind of think that's badass. Fairy woman is kind of badass. But thanks for being in my corner, Malice. Thank you, TikTok voice. I know! I got that one! It's so obnoxious, but it's really funny. Thank you, TikTok voice. Sent you an important gift. I want to see. Oh my goodness! I'm saving that right now. Hold on. Gotta be less high when people do dono messages. No, I think you're just fine. This is me. I need to make it loop. Why is it not? It keeps lagging. I don't know why, but it's really funny, so I'm leaving it. How is she doing that? This is me. It is me. How is she doing that? I'm gonna fidget spin this tablet. Thinking really hard. She's loading. Be nice to her. As a lefty, this stream greatly pleases you. I'm glad. Hold on, I'm gonna look for the picture in where it's not pixelated. And I'm not putting it on the screen, obviously, but I think it will help me. I think it will help me a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna go easy with his glasses. I like fairy woman. Fuck shit, piss, damn, fuck ass. Oh no. He looks like a bug. Give him the Gojo special. You know it. Oh, I forgot to turn fishing on. Hold on. I got you. Kenshi is also a fairy. Masky from Marble Hornets? What's Marble Hornets? Hold on. Hold on, it's still loading. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Hold on. Not the temporary chatbot outage. Slenderman. And his non-binary friend Genderman. Bond City. He's kind of got a big head. I'm sorry, Pink Man. Like one of the first Slenderman ARGs that really took off. That's awesome. Oh, I like this song too. Shit. I'm gonna move him over. Oh no, did the Nikkei Persona collab already start? I don't keep up with Nikkei. Oh no, yeah. I thought it was Persona 5 that would always nuke things. Hold on, I didn't like that. He has really long fingers. Persona in general, it might be. You're probably right.
Saul's tipped 3.33 USD. POV, get ready with me to attend the Dubai Chocolate Matcha Labuba Coffee Rave.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to go to the I want a Dubai Chocolate Labubu Rave. That's not the TikTok. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the Stream Elements, or wait, no. Yeah, it's the Kofi? I'm so sorry. I can't use I couldn't use the same voice for both because everything sucks forever. Blue Discus. Oh my god, this guy's shaped. I hope this pink eye cosplayer one day doesn't stumble onto Hamela Hampter .twitch.tv or whatever the fuck it is. No, don't say that. Don't say that. And then he'll be like, oh fuck, that's me. Damn that hamster. Okay, there's now a crease in his shirt there. Oh hell yeah, bangers only. Holy! He kind of looks like a crewmate right now.
Saul's just bought Hammie a coffee. POV, get ready with me to attend the Dubai Chocolate Matcha Labubu Coffee Rave.
Undertale? Oh, I should cosplay Senjo Gahara again and go find a... What if I wore it to the Undertale orchestra concert? Oh god, I dropped my pen. I want to go to the Dubai chocolate matcha Labubu coffee rave. I'm gonna make him do the razzle dazzle. Watch this. Oh man, I give pink guy childbirthing hips. That's crazy. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that. That's rough. Do the stinky leg. That's crazy. Give him a little razzle dazzle. His stretchy newt sack. That's crazy. I gotta make sure I give him his Adidas though. Pink guy ain't broke. I know I should make my other thigh a little bit bigger, but it's really, really difficult. The artistic vision, more like autistic vision, am I right? I gotta color it now. I gotta color it now. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Wait, hold on. I gotta fix some of the line work. And he has a lanyard. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and just make it a line. That was his convention badge, I think. Am I the only one that sees Dave Homestuck in the filthy Frank pink suit? He kinda does! Oh, I forgot to give him eyebrows. I gotta give him eyebrows. Beautiful, beautiful. Wait, hold on. I gotta exaggerate the fact that I'm wearing thigh highs here. Because Zetai Ryoiki is, justice. Wait, here we go. Hold on. What should I use to color this? I could go out of my comfort zone. Guy, keep best girl, pass it on. I want in on this. Wait, hold on. Is it because I didn't capitalize it? There we go. I had to stay alive. True. Hold on, I'm gonna need to grab this picture, I think. Hold on. So I can pull colors from it. We're doing our best. We're doing our best. Everything is scuffed forever. It's okay. Should I use watercolor? Uh-oh. Wait, it isn't... There we go, that'll work. Really is a Minecraft painting. Can we mod it into Minecraft? Hold on. Oh, should I make it watercolory? Gotta add some shading. Watercolor stress, a high level play by Hammie. I am an artist. Keep getting normal fish. Don't want normal fish? Hold on, I think I need to make my brush a little smaller. And staying crazy style fish. You want the fish to take you to Crazy Town. Wow, you got a pink boil, Ham? Is that crazy enough? Hold on. Oh no! Wait, why is it? You know what? That's okay. I didn't do this all on one layer. No, I didn't. I don't know what's going on. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not an artist. Eraser set. Wait, oh, did I bumped that, didn't I? I bumped. Thank you. That's what I bumped earlier, and I was like, what did I bump? Something changed, but I don't know what it was. Oh god. All the ladies at the strip club showed me their front toes as chiclet. Hmm. Holy. Got the artism as the Brits say. That's crazy. Hermit! Wow! Hermit crab. Hold on, I might get more purple. Why is she purple? Voodoo site for Hammie art. I need to imagine if I submitted this to the Jelburu Monogatari. Do you think they'd kill me? They'd dox me and then kill me. Comedian, thank you. I'm okay. Oh, this is such a good song too, actually. Send them after me so they can kill me in place? Oh damn. You would make that sacrifice for me? Piss man, what the hell? Araragi would come over and try to fix whatever's wrong with you. Honestly, you probably would. I could be a Monogatari heroine. I think I could do that. I could do that. I just have to hide my ears. It's more of a purplish pink, but that's okay. Oh, cool. It just looks like I dropped my coffee on it. Artistic rendition. Why hide your ears? Is he phobic? I don't know. I feel like I feel like people would be scared of a hamster girl. I guess, you know what, the only universe where I think people wouldn't be freaked out by a hamster girl is King of the Hill, because there's a whole episode about that. I can't remember if I had a high collar. Hammie's a ghost crab. Honestly, Hammie has the backstory of a Monogatari heroine. I did mention that, I kind of have a little bit of, a similar background to... I still think I'm very Reina Higurashi coded, but I do have quite a bit, other than the adoption part, I kind of have a lot in common with, Hanekawa. Knowing Araragi, you should hide your ears, but not to keep from fear. He would try and touch my ears, and I don't think I like that. What was her weapon? A sickle or a baseball bat? It was a hatchet. Keiichi uses a baseball bat in Onikakushi Hen. I guess she kind of keeps it on hand, though. Hi, Jerry! Welcome! I hope you're doing well. Oh no, I messed up. That's okay. Like Bob Ross said, there are no there's no mistakes, just happy accidents or whatever. Higurashi baseball, I want to. We should play Higurashi Daybreak. Doing alright, how are you? I'm doing alright. My left hand hurts, but we're making do. Maybe I should pick a skin from Hammie, but this'll work. Real, just one of those days. One of those days. Just one of those days. And then I need to make my fur. It starts with one thing. I don't know the lyrics to In the End. Stream where you play with old school toys like Slinkies, Lincoln Logs, Etch-a-Sketch, and Silly Putty. Oh, I used to really heavily fucks with Silly Putty. I liked how if you drew with like pencil, then the Silly Putty would kind of pick up the markings. Did you ever put it on new? Yeah, I did. Hi, Dumpling! Welcome! I hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh. Anyone Mighty Bean? I miss Mighty Beans. I wanna kick. What are the little skateboards? I forgot them. Do you guys remember Pogs? I keep thinking I'm gonna buy another, one of those robot dog, the Poochie. Tech Decks, yeah! I almost bought a Sonic one from Walmart, but then I was like, okay, you're 33, but also, don't just blow your money off. You've got Chikawa merch to buy. Oh man, look at that. Thick thighs save lives, chat. Not your antenna. Oh, cute. I hope you enjoy your haircut. It's always fun. Dollar Store always had those little sponge caps. Oh man, I always wondered what it would be like to swallow one of those. Fuck you, I feel old enough without remembering Pogs. Sorry. I did it, chat. I drew my cosplay. So Pogs are like, oh, hold on. I'm gonna need a way to just. I'm gonna grab a picture. They're like these like coin things, and they'd be like double-sided, and they'd come in like a tube, like the M&M mini M&Ms. I'm grabbing a picture. Hi, doggy. Yeah, cardboard discs. This is what they looked like. Wonderful illustration. Thank you. Kimbe, I hope it was worth the $50. I appreciate you. I now don't feel guilty about buying myself the Pokopia DLC. We hope it was worth the wait. Looks like Pokemon TCG coin. Haven't thought about Pogs in years and now twice in one day. Hehe. Imagine Chuck E. Cheese tokens, but made out of board game cardboard used for tokens. Did you guys ever play the, it came out around the first Pokemon movie time, and, it was a board game. It was a board game, but it was really fun. Pogs? Super Manager Pogs. Now, how much for drawing left-handed with one hand behind your back while blindfolded and hopping on one leg? I would break. My knees don't work. I think I did get that board game. It was surprisingly fun. This was more enjoyment than 99% or 99.999% of $50 AAA games. Thank you. It was a fun game. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I did have fun drawing it. Did you ever end up getting that fluff out of Mr. Bark's tail? So, I ended up taking Mr. Bark for a bath a couple days ago, and, they were able to get the fluff off his tail. Might be time to rewatch Kizumono. That's a good idea. Those movies are so fucking good, Lois. You know, make an exact one-to-one replica of the Mona Lisa. I like how sad you drew Hammie. It's because I'm, like, scowling in the picture. Because I was pretty good at trying to make Senjo Gahara-esque faces. I think that was probably one of the cosplays I actually ended up, wearing quite a bit, actually, between the Kizumonogatari movies and wearing it to conventions and stuff. You were scowling? Which pixel was that? So it got really smudged in the pixelation. Can you see it at all? No, you can't. You can't really see it at all. That's for the best. It's for the best. But yeah, looking good. 723. That's crazy. Kizu watch party win? I would be down to do that sometime. It might be a little while, but, cause next week is really busy, but watch party at Malice's place. Ooh, OLED monitor. That would be fun. That's awesome, though. I agree. It was really, really cute because the person who gave Mr. Bark his bath was like, you're gonna probably need to wash him. Or not, you're gonna probably need to brush him some more. But thankfully, thankfully, I got a brush he actually likes. Yay! Missed connections reunited again in the Hammie chat. Man, I guess I could make Puyo hams, but my head kind of hurts a little bit, so I don't know if I have Puyo hams in me tonight. I probably need to take my high ponytail out, but you know. Did I miss dailies, I assume? Yeah, I did dailies at the beginning. Oh, we were gonna do Linksicon. Here, I'm gonna pull that up really quick. Give me a sec here, okay? You have one more request. What's your request? Can we add Minecraft painting the void next to the picture? Of course, of course. Give me a second. I will pull it up momentarily. Once we finish our Linksicon. Contrasting class, this looks like it sucks. No wonder Malice didn't want to do it. Contrast, color, class, course, subject, lesson, course, golf, student, topic, I already did lesson, topic and course, school, student and topic. Squirrel, topic and student, major. Yeah, I actually got it, and it wasn't too terrible. It wasn't too terrible. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Okay, we need the void. We need the void. Minecraft. The void. Wahoo! Smartest streamer I know. Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay. I got this. Hold on a second. Actually, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'll do this instead. Who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu! Fuck! How do we feel about it? Like that? They are kind of making the same pose. Oh, I gotta get ordained first. I got this, trust me. Now compared to the pixel image. Wait, hold on, okay. It's a work of art. It's beautiful. Which Minecraft painting is that? It's the void. It's the void. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna move this stuff up. Maybe? I don't know. There we go. Amy, that was awesome. Can you do it outside of an IHOP? Yeah, I could probably do that. Are you sure you don't want to do it at a Waffle House, though? Because then you could start a fight and it would be expected. Thank you for the hydration check. Sorry if I sipped that water extremely loud. Cause I got startled because I also dropped my my coaster got stuck to the bottom of my cup. You better not mess with my gang. Pink guy. Eepy Gleepy. Hamela Hampter. Larry. Maybe I should be Larry. I think I'd be Larry, right? I could be Larry. Ugh. Well, I will post the full version of the artwork in the Discord, but I'm gonna send it to Kimbe first because it is his. And yeah, I'll post it. Maybe I'll post it on Twitter too in a bit. Maybe I'll post it on Twitter. We'll see. We'll see. Mr. Bark is Larry. Mr. Bark. Oh, you're still here. You're still here. Timed exclusivity. Yeah, because I have really bad ADHD today. So, will I post it tonight in the Discord? Well, that's for you to find out and for me to not know. Child, all you gotta do is gift 160 subs to make sure Hammie hits her sub goal. Hell yeah! Make sure to sign. Oh yeah, okay. Hold on. I gotta do my VTuber signature with my left hand too. With my left hand too. I got this. What color do I want to use? I think I will use blue. This is gonna be awful. Wait, hold on. I forgot what my VTuber signature looks like. This is so hard. Hammie historians are gonna be like, the signature was clearly forged, but little do they know. It came out. It sure came out. Anyway. Should we find some Hammie to raid into? For tonight? I think we're gonna do that. Because I want to go play Pokopia. I need to finish Pokopia so I can do our stream next week. Let's see. Who's streaming right now? Raid. Owen! Owen's live. Let's raid into Owen again. Owen's playing Fields of Mystery again. There was an update. When was the last time? Oh wait, we haven't raided Owen lately. Let's do it now. We'll raid into Owen. Oh, he's only gonna go for like a half hour more though. But that's okay. Let's raid into Owen. Thanks for streaming, Hammie. Have a good one. Yeah, I don't play Fields of Mystery, but I know I saw it updated. I have it, and I need to play it at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it, but... Alright, guys, let's give Owen a Hamela Wiggly, maybe? Did we have a raid message locked and loaded? Wait. I mean, I guess we could do that. That sounds good. Okay. Alright. Thank you. I love that. I cherish this. Thank you, King Bacon. This is a really fun stream. I had a lot of fun. Let's see. Sorry, it's loading kind of slow, though. Okay. Alright. As always, you guys know the drill. Be good, be safe, most of all, be kind, and I will see you What am I doing tomorrow? I think it's Kirby's Dream Land 2. I love it when bits manifest. Me too. I like a good bit. You know it. Alright, and then, yeah, stick around for some extra channel points. And I will send you over. Bye-bye!